I'm Dr. Natalie Beauchamp, and this is What the Heck, the podcast that dives into what the heck is going on in the world of health and well-being, explores how to optimize your mindset and your lifestyle, and shares practical tools so that you can achieve your fullest potential. Join me and a special guest each week as we discuss everything from biohacking to diet personalization to cutting-edge detox methods to setting and staying accountable to your goals. Ready to find out what the heck you can do to stay healthy, sharp, and at the top of your game? Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the What the Heck podcast. This is your host, Dr. Natalie Beauchamp. Super excited today to interview Pamela Gold, who I met when we were both on the set of the Dr. Nandi show for recording. And I said, oh, Pam, we so need to have you on the podcast. So Pam owns a gym in New York City, and she has some pretty cool toys. I shouldn't say toys, equipment, technology, toys, right, Pam?
My toys.
Yeah, exactly. To really help us hack our health habits and hack our health overall. So super excited for us to talk about that today. So Pam, tell us a little bit more about you, your story, how you got to be a gym owner in New York City. How did you make that happen?
Yeah. So, the best place to start probably is when, after I had my kids, I got really into fitness and nutrition because for the first time, I had to pay attention to my diet, what I was choosing to eat in order to get my figure back. Let's just put it that way. And I started going to the gym regularly, of course, after I had my kids, but I was eating still the same crap. I'll use the word crap. And then I realized I needed to eat less. And so I was eating less, but still crap. And then I realized that my body wasn't working well. And so I studied nutrition, and I was a biochemistry major at Yale. So I do understand biochemistry. And once I started studying nutrition, I felt very foolish that I hadn't connected the dots earlier and applied all of that learning to my own body. Right. But I got into really good shape. I had friends that asked me to help. I became a personal trainer, helping others achieve the same results that I had achieved. But I never thought I was going to open a gym. What ended up happening was I went back to work running a company, and suddenly I went from having 4 to 6 hours a day to work out to only having 20 minutes a day to work out. And then I started researching some of the latest technology and protocols that we have available to have a much more efficient workout. I found those. A lot of them weren't available in New York City. I wanted them. And so I opened a gym with them so I could play with them and share
awesome.
them.
And it's funny that, you talk about less time for better results, and the technology you have does that. But I think, it's kind of old school to think we need to exercise for hours. Just yesterday, I was saying that to a patient. We have to get out of that mindset that if you're not at the gym for 2 hours sweating it out, that you're not getting a good workout. So for some people that, we kind of grew up, the harder the better, it's a different mindset, right? And same thing with, in nutrition, when you talk about fats, that's like, what do you mean fats are good for me? So I think there's a shift in the body that needs to happen, but a shift of the mind as well, right?
Yeah. And hopefully we're all of the mindset that we're continually learning, continually integrating new information, questioning our prior assumptions, seeing if those prior assumptions really are true in the best way.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're doing that work in all areas of our life, including our health and fitness, and then seeing that, wait, there are better ways. And that's one of the reasons at Hacked, we really focus on data, because I want people to get a lot of real feedback on what's working for them, because we're all so unique. So something that may work for me may not exactly work for someone else, but by having access to data every step of the way, we can see what works.
I'm so with you on this, because in my book, Hack Your Health Habits, if anything, I want people to realize that there is no one size fits all. And I'm also, pretty versed with genetic testing to really hack our body, because we're all, different. So, I mean, the sky's the limit what we can do. I mean, we don't want to become obsessed with it either. I think there's a fine balance, but what you just said just reminds me of when we know better, we do better. So,
Yes,
it's
exactly. And I love what you said too about not obsessing, getting stuck on the data. I talk to our clients here about that every day because we're all overachievers, right? And so we do have the tendency to maybe get that analysis by paralysis and get
Mhm.
stuck trying, wait, is this good enough? Is this right? And I like to use the analogy, I know you're a skier too, like a slalom skier going through the gates.
Yeah.
Gate is just another data point, and we're going to just keep flowing with it. We're not going to like stop skiing and like spend an hour staring at the gate and deciding whether or not it was the right gate, was the right spot. You got to keep going. You got to trust the process, own the process, and then use the data as you go to keep informing what the next move is going to be.
Cool. So let's dig right in. So I'm going to let you, figure out which technology you're excited about and want to talk about. So, grab the first one.
Yeah, so I'm really into strength training. I think the research is really clear that if we're just going to do one thing for fitness, strength training checks all of those boxes. And so the real flagship of Hacked is what's called the ARX, which is adaptive resistance training. That has basically computerized mechanical resistance. It's an isokinetic machine that is moving at whatever speed we set it. It can also do a static hold. Apologies. But then we have the option of how hard we want to work, both eccentrically and concentrically. And we're much stronger lowering weight on the eccentric than we are lifting weight on the concentric. But normally in a gym with weights or whatever machines we have, we don't have access to that increased negative resistance on the lowering because ARX lets us be in charge each moment. It lets us be maxed out each moment. We have all of that extra opportunity for time under tension. And since we're the ones creating the resistance, we're not holding weight that may suddenly be too heavy, the
Mm-hmm.
risk of injury is way, way, way down. And of
That's
course, everything is data. So you can see each moment of each rep how much work you're doing. It's very cool.
So I'm just trying to picture what it would look like. So you get on the machine, how much pre-programming do you have to do, or the trainers have to do for each person, or is it pretty intuitive to use?
All that we do really is set the positions. So to keep our clients safe, we make sure that the range of motion is a safe range of motion. And then from there, it's really just go, and we can choose whether we want static holds or we want a range of motion. But we do use scientific principles. Body by Science is kind of the Bible that informed us that going super slow, about 10 seconds in each direction, at our max resistance for between a minute and 30 and a minute 45 seconds is all we need. So what a session looks like is literally a minute 30, a minute 45 seconds, the big five. So it's less than 20 minutes of work. And that's all you need all week.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm also a big fan of strength training, especially for women. My background, I competed in professional natural bodybuilding years ago. And I'm appalled how, the preconceived ideas, and like you were saying earlier, we have some limited beliefs sometimes. And as women, it seems like everyone is afraid to do strength training because they don't want to bulk up. And I say, we don't have the amount of testosterone to naturally bulk up and so forth. So, and then knowing that past the age of 30, bone density decreases, muscle mass decreases, it is so, so, so crucial. So totally with you on that. So I guess we have people listening to the podcast from all over. They're going to have to figure out where they might have access to a gym with that technology. But from a practical point of view from home, please, please, please do more resistance training. And there are some principles that can be applied. So let's discuss another technology that you love using.
Sure. So on the cardio side, we have something called the Carol bike. And Carol is an acronym that stands for Cardio Optimized Logic. And it actually uses artificial intelligence to give us the perfect resistance for our fitness level in two 20-second sprints.
Wow.
And so literally it's 8 minutes and 40 seconds that you're on the bike. And it's the equivalent of a 45-minute jog because you'll get to glycogen depletion twice in that 8 minutes and 40 seconds ride. So I was super, super skeptical about this. I was in good shape coming in when I started using this technology. Um, and I can say without a doubt now, 10 months in, this is the only training that I'm doing, that my cardiovascular fitness is indeed improving. And it is so much more efficient. It's so much easier to get motivated, hold yourself accountable, and it really reduces the limitations that we have around why it is that we don't work out.
Yeah, that's awesome. More efficient is, again, hacking the way that you're taking care of yourself. So, all right, let's move on to another technology that you love.
Sure. So you may be familiar with the Juve, which is a near infrared light panel. The science behind it is called photobiomodulation. And so there's two specific wavelengths of light that have been shown to increase the amount of ATP that we have in our mitochondria. So that's the powerhouse of the cell. ATP is the energy that our cells have to do work. And so it's been shown, first of all, if I do the Juve before I go on the ARX, I will see an increase in my overall output and strength. So
Wow.
that's just black and white. But there's also a lot of really, really impressive research around this red light therapy impacting a wide range of functional issues in the body. So, because if you improve cellular health, you'll improve the function of the system that the cells were supporting. So, that's another piece of the technology that we have at Hacked that I really, really believe in and I try to do every day.
Mhm. So would you say that, not just from a performance point of view, but people that may have, I hate labels, but let's just
Yeah.
say chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and so forth would
Yeah.
benefit?
Autoimmune. Yeah. Metabolic issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a great tool. And how long would an application last for?
So a 10-minute session is what's recommended. You stand about 6 inches away from the light. If you want to do your front and back, because the red light is actually really good for the skin. So it's increasing the amount of collagen and elastin we have in our skin. So you can do front and back, and then that would be a 20-minute session.
Wow, that's awesome. All
Yeah.
right. Another technology that you love.
Sure. Well, I love the Nano V. So Nano V, it's actually one of the things that I brought when we were on the Dr. Nandi show together.
Yeah, which I didn't have time to try, which I was so disappointed.
Yeah. So basically, the Nano V uses a specific frequency of light to mimic the bioidentical signal that our cells use when we're under oxidative stress. So you're breathing in water vapor that has just had this frequency of light shown on it, and it's delivering the signal to the cells, telling the cells you're under attack, start producing the good antioxidants. And so there's a lot of research that's shown that it's improved recovery after any major performance outing. It improves your HRV, which is one of the most important metrics that I look at every day to see how really under stress my body is. How is my body doing? It helps sleep. So I've been really, really pleased with that tech. And my favorite thing about it is that it helps put me into flow state. And so I'm a big meditator. I do everything I can to be in that flow where I'm not resisting, I'm not attaching, I'm not judging, and I'm just being creative. I'm like in my heart and I'm flowing. And the NanoV helps me achieve that. So I'm really passionate about that.
So a session would be about what, 20 minutes
So
or?
there's different machines depending on the machine that you have. It can range from a 15-minute to a 60-minute session. At Hacked, we have one that is a 30-minute session.
Okay. And I agree with you that, combining meditation when you're doing something else can be super, super powerful. So would you say that we could use it for overall wellness, performance, recovery?
Yeah. Anti-aging. I mean, one of the main ideas around aging is that it's a function of oxidative stress.
Yeah,
And so if we can reverse oxidative stress, reverse DNA damage,
yeah.
then we may very well be slowing down the aging process.
Tell us like what people experience with this one. Like, I know sometime with patients, with me being a chiropractor, after they get up from the table or the next day, everybody's got, how they felt. So what are experiences that you're, being told after?
Yeah. So people are telling me that it helps them have more synchronicity in their day, to be more creative and inspired in their day. They're telling me sometimes they feel a little buzzed afterwards. I think the first time you're more likely to have a little bit of a buzz, but they're telling me they sleep better and that they're seeing in their aura ring that their HRV is better.
Yeah, let's talk about that actually, the Aura Ring. I do myself has have a machine at the clinic testing HRV. It's part of my, measurement of my patient's progress, and I love it. And my God, I've had it for 8, 9 years, and it's such an awesome marker for overall health and well-being because we live
Yeah.
our life through our nervous system, and it's
Yeah.
just such an important measure. So tell us about the Aura Ring because I've looked at it and I'm like, oh, should I? Shouldn't I? I'm a
Yeah.
little bit reluctant of having technology
Wearables,
on me that
Bluetooth.
are emitting. So kind of like the idea that you don't have to be in download mode all the time. But tell us why you like the Aura Ring.
Yeah, sure. So I think you can see it. It's
Mm-hmm.
I like it because it is smaller. It does only download or upload when you tell it to. And so it's not emitting as much of the EMF frequencies, which is important. The dashboard and the data that it gives is very clear and very relevant. So each day you get a readiness score front and center. And so the readiness score is a combination of your sleep score and then your recovery index. And the recovery index is a combination of your activity the day before, your HRV, also your resting heart rate and how long it took for you to get to your lowest resting heart rate while you're sleeping. And then, of course, your sleep as well. And on the sleep side, it shows you how much REM you get, how much deep sleep you get, obviously, total sleep, how many times you woke up, how long it took for you to fall asleep. And by having access to that data, you can then start to tweak and try different hacks to
Mm-hmm.
improve your
Mm-hmm.
data, improve your sleep, improve your HRV, improve your readiness. And then, of course, it holds you accountable on the activity levels as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I found it to be very clear, very simple, relevant. And because it's on the finger and it only downloads and uploads when you tell it to, hopefully not as much of the concerning EMF exposure.
Mm-hmm. How would you compare that to, let's say, other wearables in terms of the data that it gathers, right?
Yeah, so I originally not this is not good for EMF reasons, but originally I was wearing two Aura rings, a Whoop, and a BioStrap all at once because I wanted to check the
Yes. Yeah.
validity
No,
of the
I,
information.
I can
And because
see myself doing something similar just from a
yeah, I was
science
like,
point of
I know
view.
that's really geeky and nerdy, but if I'm going to tell my clients what I believe in and that I can trust the data in these devices, and Stanford just had a big research study that came out that showed how most of the data, especially on the overall calories burned, were wildly, wildly off, like wildly, like 85% off. So it's
Wow.
really important to have some sense, obviously, that the data that we're getting is real and trustworthy. And so, you know, I did wear two auras at once because I wanted to see whether they were saying the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they were very consistent, which made me feel better. The bio strap is a wrist band that I found also to be really, really accurate and helpful. It required a little bit more maintenance in terms of charging it, and then it's on my wrist, and then you're putting on, coats and taking off coats,
Mm-hmm.
and it was getting stuck and that kind of thing. So I do prefer having something on my finger than my wrist. But I did also like the bio strap just for general use. The Whoop, I think, is particularly good for athletes, people that are very, very active and working out very hard, training very hard, because that gives you a strain score as well as a recovery score. For me, because I am into this whole effective minimum dose of
Yeah.
fitness and training, I don't think that was the right tool for me. And for most people, I think that the Aura or the BioStrap, and the Garmin is pretty good as well. Again, that's a wrist one. You get more. It's a constant
Mm-hmm.
connection via Bluetooth, so you will get more EMFs, but it is constantly monitoring your heart rate, which is pretty cool. The other ones don't do a constant monitoring the way that the Garmin does.
Oh, that's cool. And I think we have time for one other technology that you have or that you use yourself to
Yeah.
help people.
Yeah. So the other technology I'm super passionate about that we don't technically offer at Hacked. We have an independent contractor who comes in twice a week and offers it here, because it's something that I was super skeptical about. It's the PEMF pulse center device. The science behind that, I was very, very skeptical. Again, I was a biochemistry major. I do understand cellular biology, and the way that they were describing what was happening in the body and why it was so effective, I found to be not really something that I could completely get my nerd head around.
Yeah.
That said, people anecdotally spoke so highly of it. Eventually, I decided to demo it, not knowing even how I was going to evaluate it because I don't have anything I'm trying to heal.
Yeah.
It's touted as speeding up bone healing. It's approved for depression. It's approved for post-operative healing. And so I'm not depressed. I'm an Energizer bunny, rewired my brain to have a lot of those feel good chemicals all the time. I don't have any injuries. But when I demoed it, I'm very sensitive to energy, just things to know about me. I really am very tuned into my energy flow. And about 15, 20 minutes into the session, I felt a very big shift energetically where something healed in me that was a much deeper trauma. And I felt amazing. My body and brain wanted more. And that's about 6 months ago now. If I have it on my schedule and for some reason either the independent contractor is running late, or if I have a client who's injured, of course I'll give them my spot. Part of me gets bummed and a little cranky that I'm not getting my time on the pad. It is an interesting
Yeah.
modality that I don't think science really can explain. I think it's much more in the subtle energetic realm. But I can tell you anecdotally in my personal experience is that I love it. And I've experienced some real profound shifts from it. And it is something that I will continue to use for myself and continue to offer through Hacked.
How about the people doing it at the gym? They like it as well?
People love it. People don't, it's hard to really put your finger on what it's doing.
Hmm.
Um, but people come back and people like it. And again, I had one friend who had a broken rib and his rib healed really well. Again, it's so hard. Nothing is in a vacuum, right? It's like, well, how fast would it have healed without it? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't, placebo effect is real. All these things are real. So, all I can say is honestly, I can't tell you how it works. I do think it does something important, and it is something that I personally am going to continue to use.
It's funny that you mentioned that technology because I literally had a call with a center, sorry, a company that sells them, and trying to understand the technology because this is something that, as a healer, if I can have modalities for my patients to heal better, and you're right, there's so much that we don't understand, and sometimes we just have to be open about things. I know that there are a few tests that I'm currently testing, and I'm just blown away by the information that can be obtained and the results. And sometimes, obviously science first, but I think we still have a lot to learn when it comes to the body and how we
And the
can.
subtle energy of the subtle energetic of the body, which definitely impacts our health.
Yeah, well, we are bioenergetic being, and I think sometimes people forget that. I always kind of give the analogy with my patient. When you do an MRI, why do you think there's a picture? At the end, it's because you're an electrical, you're a magnetic being. That's why we can. I think because it's not seen. This is something that people kind of know, but kind of forget, I think.
Yeah, it's we try to find what we can be certain about, and the things that we can't see, it's harder
Yeah.
for us to kind of close our eyes and feel it and lean into that. And it's scarier to rely on that subtle flow of information than what you can see. And as we know, appearances can oftentimes be very, very misleading.
Yeah.
So as much as people can tap in, I always tell my patients, my clients, that at the end of the day, they need to be their own best guru and their own best coach, because I can tell you tons of research around when it's best to have protein and how much and how often to do this and how often to do that. But your body is different, and your body has innate wisdom that if you ask yourself, you will get a really, really good answer if you can learn how to listen to it.
You're talking my language with innate intelligence as a chiropractor. We work with that all day, and it's very humbling as well to be able to help people. So thank you so much, Pam. And just, in terms of wrapping up, we've talked about these technologies. I mean, the Oura Ring people can order online, but what would you say one or two key principles? We talked about strength training. What are 2 or 3 key principles that you think if people started to apply, they would just, get better results with their fitness?
Well, I'm sure everyone's already heard, the principles around high intensity interval training.
Mm-hmm.
That there is just no reason for anyone to ever just go on a cardio machine and do a steady state workout for 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That is just not of service. And the only time that I would still do it is if I were reading a book or working on something and I wanted to be active while doing it. It's better to be active than not,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just far and away not of service. And there's been so much research done in this area. It's just clear as day. Even if you just go on any kind of machine and you just say, okay, for 10 seconds, I'm going to go as hard as I can. And then for 20 seconds, I'm going to take it a little bit easier. And then 10 seconds as hard as I can. And then 20 seconds, take it a little bit easier. Just do that instead of a steady state. And your results will be you'll be like, I can't believe this is the same body. You won't eat any differently. You won't do anything else differently. And you will get drastically different results from your workout. And then on the strength side, slow and heavy in a safe way is the way to do it. And so you can recreate this workout if you can figure out what 80% of your 1 rep max is and try to do that for 1 minute and 30 seconds to 1 minute and 45 seconds, moving super, super slowly, like a slow count of 8 in each direction. And you do that once or twice a week. That's all you need to do. Do that the big 5, and that's all you need to do for strength training. And then do what you love. Be active. By all means, every hour move. Be active. Find what you love and do that and share that. Tips.
That's great advice. Thank you so much. So Pam, if people want to find out more about your gym, what's the URL of your website? And would you consider, do you have drop-in that, people can go?
People can drop in anytime. It is by appointment only, but if you're in New York, certainly make an appointment, and you can always drop in and we'll try to accommodate you. It is a small space, and most of our things, there's 1 or 2 of them. So
So what's the URL of your website?
It's hacked, HACKD, fitness.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. Like I said, the purpose of this is to make people understand that exercise has changed a lot. We need to stick with the time or get with the time in terms of efficiency. And if, to me, if we can get better results faster in our busy schedule and see results, to me, it's a no-brainer. So thank you for your time, your wisdom. I'm so happy that we met in Detroit. And next time I'm in New York City, I will sure drop by and use the technology. So thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you, Natalie. Have a great rest of your day.
So thank you so much, everyone. This was Dr. Natalie Beauchamp for the What the Hack podcast. I hope you got a lot of insight today and that it just opened up your mind of what's out there and to change it up when it comes to your fitness so you're not bored for hours, because there are better and efficient ways. So until next time.
Are you struggling to lose weight, stay energized, or adopt healthier habits? With so much information out there, it's hard to know what's best for you and your body. Not only that, but forget staying motivated when you don't have a clear path to take. That's why Dr. Natalie created the Hack Your Health Habits Mastery Program. The program is an online, self-paced, transformational program that can help you truly maximize your mind and body's potential. The best part, it's done right in the comfort of your own home and on your own schedule. The Mastery Program teaches you everything that you need to know to take control of your health once and for all. The modules are organized in a manner that is sure to keep you accountable and motivated throughout the program so that you achieve success. Are you ready to finally hack your health habits? Go to www.hyhhmastery.com to learn more.
I'm Dr. Natalie Beauchamp, and this is What the Heck, the podcast that dives into what the heck is going on in the world of health and well-being, explores how to optimize your mindset and your lifestyle, and shares practical tools so that you can achieve your fullest potential. Join me and a special guest each week as we discuss everything from biohacking to diet personalization to cutting-edge detox methods to setting and staying accountable to your goals. Ready to find out what the heck you can do to stay healthy, sharp, and at the top of your game? Let's get started. This has been a Wellness on the Go production.